What's up, guys? Back again with another video, and today we're going to be breaking down chapter 5 of my book, The Simplicity and Complexity of Life. I know it's been a little while since the last one we did, but I figured let's get back into it. So, chapter 5 is about the innately imperfect, about how we all do things that are flawed, and a lot of times there are these impulses or things that we kind of keep secret, or we feel like we must do them, or it's an urge we have, if it's lustful or if it's a desire for food or whatever, maybe sex, drugs, gambling. We all have that little thing that we rely on and a lot of times become dependent on. And I kind of talk about that in here and how to accept that within others. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, The Innately Imperfect. Us as humans are innately imperfect. We all make mistakes and have our flaws and do things that others will simply not understand. Kind of like I said earlier, we all have our flaws and things that are wrong about us and things that we do knowingly a lot of the times that we know we shouldn't. Maybe it's lashing out at people in times of anger. And I've kind of talked all throughout this book about how one of the biggest things that I think we all need to learn is self-control, especially over our emotions in times of anger or in times of pain or grief, especially in the world we find ourselves in today. And then also about how we all have these flaws and we try and hide them. We tuck them away in the closet, and some are bigger than others. Some people it's gambling, but then other times it's people are alcoholics, or they have addiction to pornography, or whatever it may be, that they keep tucked in the closet because it's embarrassing to them. And for us not to, shame people for these addictions or these flaws, but instead try and help them figure it out the same way we would with someone who, maybe lashes out in anger frequently. Next, we all have our own unique, imperfect characteristics to our personality and individual things we struggle with on a regular. Just kind of like I was just saying about how we all have these things and there's no reason to be ashamed of them. And we all have one, in our closet somewhere. And for us as onlookers, sometimes it's our job not to understand or even judge, but accept with love and care. Taking a step back from our grounded morals and know there will be a time when we ourselves do something that we can simply not explain to others. We just must do it. When we are on the outside looking in, as people watching these other people do these things, gamble or be alcoholics or drug addicts or lash out at friends or family or strangers or whatever, flaw we might have, or, for me personally, I know I'm too hard on others. And that stems from me being too hard on myself. And we have to take a step back when we're watching this, and we have to evaluate and realize, where is this flaw coming from? Where does it stem from? Because it always stems from somewhere. I know where mine stems from. And most people don't know where theirs stems from. And within ourselves, we have to look where our flaws are and where they stem from. That way we can better understand them. And then us as observers and outsiders on the outside looking in, watching other people and noticing their flaws, we have to take a step back and not react with even more hate or pushing or pain or confront them with violence or aggression back. Instead, we must welcome them with loving and open arms. And it might be frustrating or difficult at times, but we must be better than them and be the bigger person. And we can a lot of times just chalk it up to, hey, that's them and that's their person. And if they're willing to get help, we can help them, but we cannot force anyone to do anything they're not willing to do. It is important for us as the common man to know that our mind is truly the only thing we have control over. I think this is a very important point, especially when interacting with others. I find myself oftentimes getting very upset with people in my job, having to work in the customer service industry. A lot of people come in and they feel like nothing's ever good enough, or they find any little thing to complain about, most of the times things that aren't even in your control. And you really got to chalk it up at the end of the day. This person's just miserable within their own life, and that's what it is. Don't let it affect you or your day, or your mood, even though oftentimes we find it very hard to, even myself. But just know that we can't change them. A lot of times these people we don't even know. It's different when it's strangers compared to family or friends, but yeah, a lot of these times just chalk up to, we can't control that person. That's them. They're probably having their own problems, or just upset, or they were just raised wrong or brought up in a different time. And then I also have in here a quote that I really try and embody, and I try and remember, especially in times where I find myself upset at people. And it is from Marcus Aurelius, and the quote is, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Just remembering that we have to be lenient and tolerant with others in this world. We all are very diverse. We all have different beliefs and ways of living, and this book is just my way of living and what I think it means to be a good person and to be happy in life, and how to find real, true freedom, free from religion and society and from moral constraints put on us by generations before us. And I think it's good to, understand that everyone comes from a different place, and no one's going to think or act or agree exactly the way we do. But that doesn't mean we just let them do whatever they want. We can hold them to a standard, but we also have to give them grace and not add on to whatever pain they might be going through or pain they're trying to cause us or others. Just try and be as loving and as open to others as we can be, and tolerant with others. And with that, being tolerant with others means, like I said, you can still have, standards for others, but the only person you can truly be strict with and have standards with and discipline is yourself, with your body and your mind. Like I say later on in this book, oftentimes a weak body signifies a weak mind. We must be strict with our mind and how we react to the world and to others, but also the way we react and treat our body. Are we going to lash out, break things, be aggressive? Or are we, going to take care of our body, eat clean, take our vitamins, make time for, sitting and just resting, things of that nature. So knowing that we can be tolerant with others, but the only person we truly have control over is ourselves. I finished this with saying a little quote / phrase for myself, and it is, your standards and you shouldn't have to live up to anyone else's. Just be forever you. Be forever evolving. Be forever bettering yourself. That's all you can be. We are all students of the game in this life. We are all no one to someone. Kind of just remembering, we all think we're the main character in this world, but we're no one. We're a speck, a dot in time. We are just simply passing through this life. Well, till next time, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the video. If you did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the other social medias, TikTok, Instagram. Till next time, peace out.